All right, guys, welcome to the 6th episode of Chief Concerns, the very first true Kansas City Chiefs debate-style show with former Chief players debating the current team. We're here with our hosts, former tight end Jason Dunn and former cornerback Eric Warfield. How you guys doing? How was your Thanksgiving, guys?
Mine was good. You know, I got to hang with the family for a little bit, ate some food, and sat in front of the TV for the rest of the day.
AD?
Yeah, man, it was good. Everything was tasty. You know, just the only thing, I'm the youngest out of 11. So that was the hard part, but we did a big Zoom. You know, of course, we did like a family prayer and all of that before it. And, you know, everybody kind of got their food at the very beginning, then we all had to just sign off. But it was good, though. It was good. You know, no complaints. Everybody was well. Food was good. That's all you needed, right? That was it.
Yep.
That's it. What'd you guys think of the Thanksgiving games?
I didn't see any of them.
You didn't watch them?
No, I didn't. I tried to watch them, and I had to cook 2 turkeys, so that's why my eyes were shut. I ain't get to see not one game, not one of them.
They were okay. I won't sit up and say like they were, you know, entertaining games, but it was something to watch for it being pandemic holiday.
Yeah. Hey, Alex Smith looked good too. I mean, that's a name from the past right there for the Chiefs, but he looked pretty good. I mean, I hope they win the division. That division's a mess. Have you guys ever seen a division that looks that way as far as the wins and losses like that?
Never.
Sure. One time like that, we was. You don't remember?
I think the most wins a team in that division right now has is 3.
Yeah, that's hard. Yeah, you're right. I haven't seen something like that. But so who was that? Was it Jacksonville that won? It was 8-8 that year?
I think one year we were close to making it, and Pittsburgh made it with a 500 season. So I mean, 500 isn't bad, but right now they only got 3 wins at the most, I think, in that division.
Yeah, man. That's tough. That's tough. Yeah, it's some sorry football being played, man. Some sorry football being played for sure.
What was that one year? I don't know if Eric was on the team still at that point. Do you remember that one year, JD, where it was the New Year's Eve and we needed like San Francisco to lose, Denver to lose. We needed like 3 teams to lose, and then we ended up sneaking in the playoffs 9-7.
Yeah. I remember that. So I think it was what was that Herms?
Yeah, I wasn't there then.
Okay.
Yeah. So all the cards just kind of played out. You know, it really did. But should we get into playoffs and then we lay an egg?
Yeah.
You know, so.
It looks
well, I mean,
that game.
I guess it means something to get into playoffs, though. You know, you say you make the playoffs.
Yep, got that extra check.
Right. There you go. That's right. Then my basement finished for that one, too.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to go into Chief Concern number 1. The Chiefs put on a show this week with an offensive explosion. Well, I guess a first-half offensive explosion where Tyreek Hill had 261 yards receiving, and Mahomes had another 400-yard performance against Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, winning 27-24. What was your kind of takeaway with this game?
I mean, I kind of called it before. I said that our receiving core would have a hell of a game, mainly because of what the Rams did with 2 receivers against the Bucs before. And if they couldn't stop 2 guys and they know that ball was coming to those 2 guys, how are they going to stop what we got? But to say Tyreek would have ended up with what he ended up with, oh no, wouldn't have guessed that. And what was even spectacular to me was that he had 201 quarter, and Kelsey was almost at 100 before that half also. So that's like 2 receivers that's eating you up for 300 yards and a half of a game. So yeah, the thing with Tampa is they got some major concerns with their secondary.
JD?
Yeah, you know what? I was shocked with the Tyreek Hill doing that to them. Now, mind you, he had talked about it the week before. But I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, I know we'll get into this. I mean, I'm looking at it, man. That's just bad coaching on the Buccaneers. Really. I mean, we could sit there running man-to-man coverage on Tyreek Hill. Like, why would you do that? I mean, you know, you see the guy sitting on the sideline and he's begging, like, please give me some help over top, or at least put somebody out here to help me. I don't care if you bring somebody off the bench, you know, get somebody off the bus, but I need some help right now. And you can see he's pleading.
I'm gonna throw something out there that I saw. Patrick Mahomes, he surprises me every week, and you should be at a point to where it's like you've seen so much of what he has in his trick bag to where you shouldn't be surprised. But it's almost weekly that he pulls something out of his bag. And I'm not saying that particular play that he threw the pass to Tyreek was that spectacular, because a lot of quarterback, that's what you're supposed to do, is look the safety off. And I think the safety was supposed to be over the top on Tyreek, but Pat looked left the entire time. And at the last minute, he turned right and he just slung that thing and caught him. And there was no time for the safety to go over there to help. So I can see how that hurts when you're trying to man double up on a guy. But either way, if you sit there and double Tyreek Hill, there's not any safety. I don't think there's one safety in the NFL that can cover Kelce one-on-one. And then I don't think there's a corner that has enough size to cover him one-on-one. So you still got that concern. So we just have an offense that's complicated. And at times I'm in awe, because like when we hit that brick wall and we go 3 and out at times, I'm like, how is that possible? Like, we got way too many weapons to be just punting the ball right now. So that's the thing I get concerned about.
Well, you've seen them. They switched it up a little bit the second half, and that's what Bruce Aaron does, man. He does a great job, making adjustments at the half. So he's got a veteran team, but also too, I'm gonna tell you what helped us out was having Sammy Watkins back. Having Sammy back too, was another threat, another big guy, big receiver. So he got a couple of balls here and there, just to kind of open up. And sometimes what you want to do is just be able to threaten the defense. So now it's just not, okay, we got Tyreek out here. Now we got Sammy. Now we got Travis. Who, like you said, who are we covering, right? Because if I double one, the other guy's open. Now Travis is going to kill us. Well, Sammy's going to kill us. So I think that's, they always caught up in that, conundrum as far as like, what do we do? But I'll tell you what, one thing you don't do that. Don't run man zone or just man coverage on that guy. Now,
I agree.
Yeah. Now, and I see that one play we just talking about the safety over top E.
Yeah.
And I was telling somebody, because I was just jumping up and down. I said, look, you got to realize, man, you're talking about one of the fastest guys in the NFL right now. One of the fastest. He looked like he was trying to get over top, and he was still slow. I mean, he just couldn't get there. He just couldn't do it.
Yeah, that's some crazy speed that he's got.
Yeah.
No, you bring up Sammy Watkins. I mean, it's one of those things that, it's the possession receiver is always the unsung hero. People don't really talk about it. It's not sexy. It's not like that. It's not that fun thing. But seeing him come back this week, we actually realized, that I think he only had maybe six or seven balls this week, but that possession, throwing it down and getting like 8 yards here, 7 yards here, that's huge. We talk about our being a chunk offense. He brings that other element that we don't really have with the other guys. Hardman's another big play guy, but Sammy's one of the only kind on this team to do that 7 here, 6 yards here, 8 yards here. It's funny, when we got drafted, he was a big play guy, but now he's, as a vet, he's the possession guy. And I think seeing him this weekend was something that not a lot of people were talking about this week. So that's huge.
When you talk about like sustaining drives, that guy is so key. He's the move to change guy. That's just really what he is. So possession receiver, that's what you're looking for. So when you have that, like you said, if you don't get the chunks, and Tampa Bay's defense, as far as the front four, are so talented. Well, really the front seven do a great job, and they was bringing pressure on Patrick. So it's causing a lot of problems. We'll get into that a little bit more as far as like what it was doing to the offensive line and what you'll possibly see. But with a big receiver like that, you get the ball to him, like you said, get 8 yards. So now it's, third and short, right? Or first down off this guy. So now it's not, he don't have to scramble. He can get the ball out of his hands. A guy like that can body, smaller guys up, a safety, or even a corner. You can just, body a guy. It's just playing basketball out there. So, man, he's key. That's what you want. You got to have a guy like that out there, especially against a defense like this.
Eric, what did you make of Watkins' performance this weekend?
He's a
unsung guy.
He is that possession guy, and it shows, because it opens so much of the defense up to where you have our speed outside, you have our biggest playmaker inside or outside in Kelce, and all of a sudden you have another outstanding vet that comes in that knows what the markers are, how to get to the markers, how to keep drives, sustain drives. When he's back, it makes you unsure of what you're able to either double team or whether you're able to, kind of play aggressive on. So when you can't be aggressive in a defense, you open up so many holes and loops to where you're giving up so much. And right now, having him back, because I think in those previous games where we were hurting, like we said, we weren't getting much from the running game, so we weren't getting those 4 or 5 yards, maybe 6 yard run attempts up the middle or on the outside. So we were always having to look for the chunk routes because that's what we were accustomed to. But teams could double because all we had was Tyreek and Kelsey. Those other guys are good, but they really haven't proven themselves. And Sammy's a proven guy, and he was also drafted as a big playmaker. So yeah, they know what we have, and now having him back, it just opens us up that much more as an offense.
Yeah, for sure. And our next concern, you guys both kind of alluded to this. Jason, I'll let you have this one. But while it was a big-time offensive explosion, we did see our offense kind of take the foot off the gas a little bit, which has been kind of a criticism of Andy Reid in the past, and I guess just during his Chiefs tenure, that's been kind of a criticism. But do you get concerned when you see this trend of not being able to put teams away, especially a team that has a Tom Brady at quarterback? And they did come back in that game, and they made the game closer than it should have been.
You know what? I really thought about this and just kind of evaluating. I didn't really see as far as like taking the your foot off the pedal. Maybe you was trying to sustain drives, right? You was trying to eat up the clock a little bit, right? And you got to get into that point of football, especially offensively. You got to have at least that phase of the game to you, right? It's like 4-minute clock. So 4-minute clock is not necessarily just at the end of the game. Sometimes in the course of a football game, you got to be able to have 4-minute clock. You want to wear down the defense as much as possible. Now, part of the problem, I think, comes in, might be just a play calling in itself, right? I told you, sometimes the arrogance or maybe the confidence that you had to run kind of trick plays and kind of get you in a situation like, okay, this didn't work. So now it's either, it's a big play or not, right? Go big or go bust. So now all of a sudden it puts you in a position that now the next 2 calls got to be right on key about what it is that you want to do. So I didn't really see them necessarily take the foot off the gas. I know at the end of the game, the best thing to do with a guy like Tom Brady, because he's always one of those guys that can eat you up at the end. You just know, supposedly the GOAT, right? It's arguable, whatever. But don't let him have the ball in his hands at the end. Don't give him a chance and opportunity. So sustain the drive, keep the ball in your hands, start trying to establish a running game. So I didn't really quite see that as much as far as like taking the foot off the gas. I mean, I think they played a decent defense. They just couldn't do what they did in the first half, because they paid for it.
Eric?
I mean, that's kind of the same. I would say it's kind of the same thing. When you're trying to prolong drives and really you don't want to really go for the end zone, but you at least want to sustain drives and keep get the first down and keep it going. I mean, that's kind of like, putting your foot on the gas a little bit. And to me, to put up the kind of yardage and points that we did in the first half, and then to come back and to see the progress that Tampa was having in the first half, I kind of think we did take our foot off the gas. But given that opportunity, you see what Tom Brady can do. He still almost threw for 400 yards and a pretty good comeback, although I think that if we had just kept doing what we're doing, it wouldn't have even been that close. But that's just a matter of it happens. And usually at times it's like you don't want to try to embarrass a team or coach when you're just putting up numbers for no reason. Frustration sometimes set in because people are upset about losing, and then they can go out and try to do dirty plays and hurt one of your players. And not everybody's got the best sportsmanship out there. So I get it if they do try to take the foot off the gas and just run the clock out, get the game over with. But Tom's a dangerous guy. He's proven himself since he's taken over as quarterback at New England. So he's one of those that can keep him in a game. And right now, I think I mentioned this already, but I don't even know if they're any better than what Jameis Winston was doing. Because I think he's already thrown at least twice more interceptions than what he did last year. And I don't know if it's just his relationship with the coach or the scheme or what, but it's not looking good out there at Tampa anymore.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, see, and I'll say, so when I hear like take your foot off the gas, right? To me, it's almost like, well, you're so far ahead that, you know, now all of a sudden you don't have to even score anymore, right? You start taking guys out, you don't even run the same plays. I think at this point, you know, it's strategy. So it's not like you're not trying to score. Because in the end, I'm like, yeah, you know, we're definitely trying to score, right? Because we just don't want, you know, we get ahead, we try to get ahead. But also, too, what it does is you put more time on the clock for them. And I'm just like, you can't leave this joke out here with time on the clock. You know what I'm saying? And so you get away from maybe the different play calls of going over the top, because now they're looking for over the top plays, right?
Got it.
So it's like, oh, well, shoot, man, just, you know, quick little dump. Hey, you know, little draw play here and there with Le'Veon. So he got a little looks. You know, I was good to see him get a little looks too. But you know, that Tom Brady thing, what you was talking about, I think, man, it's a combination of the coaches, and I think it's the wide receivers too, man. I mean, I seen a couple things as a wide receiver. I'm just like, man, don't trick the quarterback. You can tell him tricked him. So you can tell, like, you know, when you have that relationship with the receiver and the quarterback, you can truly tell they're on the same page. But they haven't quite got there yet. They ain't got, you know, so that's the difficult part.
Yeah, and they say, I mean, the Buccaneers have their own drama right now, but they're saying that I guess Arians was throwing him under the bus. Brady didn't want to take the bait after the press conference after the game and stuff. But yeah, they said the second half of that game was mostly Brady's play calls, but Bruce Arians said that Brady's the one who does call the plays the whole game. So there's a lot of drama in that locker room. So thankfully that's not our fan base. So and
yeah, it's true.
But yeah, so we got into a little Tyreek Hill and the way that defense was played. We saw Hill dominate this past weekend to lengths we've probably never seen before in some ways. I mean, at least I've never seen a guy dominate like that. That was like something I'd see on Madden. I mean, it's not, you don't see that in real life, really. That's like a rookie mode, just throwing 9 routes all day. That's what it looked like to me. Yeah. But what was to people who don't know football well, kind of talk, Eric, can you kind of talk to us about the kind of coverage they were playing and what they did in the first quarter, and then what did they kind of move to in the second quarter to show as to why he wasn't getting the stats that he did put up in the first quarter?
Well, I think it was more so we didn't need the strategies and the play calling that we had in the first half. And I think we had built up such momentum in the first half to where we just needed to sustain a few drives, and if we put up a field goal, or put up a touchdown, we get a touchdown. To where we weren't looking to we didn't have to capitalize on the plays that was really being called. So, as I kind of agree with you on, I think we did kind of take our foot off the gas, just to have one guy go out for one quarter, and I'm pretty sure that Tyreek Hill had no idea in his rightful mind that he'd have 200 yards in one quarter. But he was impressive. He went out, put the effort in, and that's what he got. And Tampa, to me, they're just struggling on the back end because they don't have the pressure up front. They're a good run stop defense. Unfortunately, we don't run the ball a lot. And also, unfortunately, we got the best quarterback in the game. So, you know, you got two unfortunate situations for them. Because to me, Sue is still good, but old. Jason Paul-Pierre, another one, he's still good, but old. Their entire front line is built that way, except for the young guy on the other end. I can't think of his name. But they don't put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. They're not a pass rush team. They're a run stop. And that is shown throughout almost every game I've seen. You know, the first 2 games against the Saints lit them up. You know, then they come back to the Rams, and then they come back to us, and, you know, and we do the same exact thing. So they're whatever game plan that they have going, or whatever schemes they're trying to deem up on for teams is not working. And I don't know if it's the safeties or the corners or just the group itself isn't working as a unit. But they got to find something to change it up, because right now it's not helping. You know, I think they got to be like one of the worst defenses for the pass right now.
Jason, how would you go about stopping a guy like Tyreek Hill? if you were on that coaching staff.
Okay, well, so I seen the adjustments. So first half, what they was doing, they was running, pretty much cover one man coverage against Tyreek, and he was just killing. He was just lighting them up. And so, what I see every time he's catching the football, the DB wasn't even in position to make the play. Sometimes when the guy catches the football, the DB's still in a position to make the play. I mean, Tyreek was just out running it. I mean, he wasn't even close to it. I mean, he was over trying to tackle him before he even caught the football. So you know how far behind he was. But you seen a lot of that cover one. So you had to really get into like a zone coverage, or if you do like something, you cover one lock, something where you get, you have a guy, you double him up, and you either do like a spy cover G, right, on a guy, something like that, where you come down in the box, you have him take over another guy coming across, or maybe going deep. Even if you run cover two, which you have the safeties, right, going over the top, the guys playing low in the corners. You still got to have a middle linebacker, somebody who can run with that tight end, or somebody taking something down the middle. And I think they tried that one time, and I think either Sammy got open, or I think Travis Kelce ran like an inside wheel route. And when he ran that inside wheel route, I could see I actually rewinded this and showed my girl this, and she was like, "What are you rewinding?" I said, "Man, look at the coach is going crazy on Tampa Bay." I said, because the guy is actually supposed to get Kelce, but he sloughs off for the back coming out the backfield. I'm just going to my offensive mind, just looking at things, right? And she gets crazy on me, but because I'm just showing her things, and I'm explaining it to her. I love doing it, but I was just like, watch how he gets open, and Patrick, because he has that cannon, can put that ball right in that window where it needs to be. And so when you got a guy like that back there, man, just tossing the ball any way he wants to, like he's in the play, in the playground. I mean, that's a good place to be, man. But trying to stop Tyreek and just the offense in itself, you got to have either, like I said, maybe a zone coverage. I say, man, if we're going to get something deep, we got to run cover 4, right? It's 4 deep.
But they ran it all, though, Jason.
They did.
I can give you all those deep plays where Tyreek got points, got big yardage off of. And one, it was man-to-man. 2, one of them was I think he played deep thirds, and Tyreek ended up running like an out up. It was the quickest out and turned it up.
Yes.
The dude was playing like 10 yards off.
Right.
So that's based on his eye discipline. But
he bit the out though, right? He bit the out.
Okay. Everybody knows in the NFL, I don't care what other sport, a double move is gonna be successful. There's a 90% chance it's gonna be successful. You just have to have the time as a quarterback to throw the ball. But if you run a double move against anybody, any corner is gonna break on it. So it's highly successful play. That's what he had on one of them. The other one, it was a man-to-man, and I think another one was a zone play. Because I think Tampa even scored on us on a double move. It was Evans who ran it out up, and that's the first one that they scored on.
Yeah.
It's one of those you just can't. They're hard to stop, whether you got help or not.
Look, E, and look, you said this earlier, right? So you said the two teams that ate them up. Okay, you talking about New Orleans and you talking about LA, right? And so when you have those two teams that ate them up, you got to think about the style of offenses that they had, right? You talking about little short guys, quick guys, do double moves. If I'm a DB, and look, you played it. I'm just telling you what I would do. If I'm over getting my lunch ate the whole game, you know what I'm saying? This dude has been taking my lunch money. I'll let him have that out route. You can have this, but you ain't gonna beat me over top.
So
you know what I'm saying?
So as the way I would guard, when we have practice, if I got to guard Dante out there, I'm gonna guard Dante man to man. For one, Dante don't have the speed like Tyreek Hill, so I can live with that. But if I'm guarding Dante, I'm man to man, and I can take any route, inside, outside, on him. If he wants to go up the field, Trent's got to throw a perfect ball for Dante to beat me because of his height. He's got to throw a ball high enough to drop it in a basket where I can't get there. Even if Dante's got to step on me, my height is going to help me get to that ball. So it's hard for Dante to beat me on a deep route. That's the one good thing that I would use to my advantage. Mm-hmm. Now, Tyreek Hill, that's way too much speed for me to keep up with.
There you go. You're right. There you go.
If I can't jam him at the line of scrimmage, I'm damn near and I'm running in mud. So, I don't have that catch-up speed to catch up to him.
Right.
And it doesn't And it doesn't have to be a perfect pass because he's going to have such a gap. you can kick it to him.
Right? I'm saying, man, nobody has that type of makeup speed. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm sitting over there, I'm not going to sit on the out. This sucker runs out route. I'm going to make sure this joker catches it. Then I'm going to come up. I'm going to see that ball being thrown, off the corner of my eye. Man, I'm not biting that out route on Tyreek. You know what I mean? Shoot. Look, I got my family looking up at me. My kids is watching what's going on. And usually kids got to go to school on Monday. Thank God because of the things right now. Because they boy, I know they be eating them kids up like, man, your daddy got cooked like a turkey.
Man.
So yeah, man, it just it's I don't care. It's hard, to stop that. But I look at, man, like you said, maybe some zone that you got to run against this, but you got to have a really efficient pass rush. That is the key, right? That really is the key. If you don't get the ball out of his hand fast, you can't let him sit back there and give him some time to make that throw. You just can't.
Yeah, and Patrick is always going to find a way to make a play. So the best way to beat our offense is to put pressure on him. You got to pressure him every play and hit him every play. And if he gets outside the pocket, he's making crazy backside throws. So it's one of them things where you got to be 100% disciplined as a defense, because the minute you slip, he's going to make you pay for it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and at the end of the second half, they started getting a good pass rush on him. They got that strip sack on him. And even at that last play, that critical third down, they flushed him out of the pocket, but he just made an incredible throw at Tyreek to get that first and end the game.
Yep.
They were getting after him.
Yeah, that's an adjustment. Bruce Arians is like, look, man, we got to make this adjustment right now. So if you're giving the guys to kind of get to the outside, and Eve was talking about some of what Patrick was doing, you see him start doing a little twinkle toes run, to get through that line. And I was like, okay, there you go. Pick him up, put him down, then Patrick.
Yeah,
put him up out there, Patrick.
And to your point, where talking about having Kelsey and Hill and how that drives defense, it gives them nightmares. That play where Mahomes missed Hardman was wide open because everyone was focused on the other side of the field in that one play. That would open up the floodgates, I think. We talk about, sit on the ball and kind of, not taking the foot off the gas. And we scored that touchdown there. Then I think they could have afforded taking the foot off the gas a little more.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But okay, so next time we're going into this week. Now, a couple weeks ago, I learned a little more about the Raiders-Chiefs rivalry. I knew it was a big rivalry, but as a kid, I thought that the Chiefs-Raiders was a little above the Denver and Chiefs rivalry. There is something there, maybe not as relevant as the Chiefs and Raiders rivalry, but do you guys have any stories from the Broncos-Chiefs days from when you guys played?
The rivalry isn't as intense as the Raiders. It's a conference game, so obviously you're going to have some intensity there. It's just not as bad. And I read the questions that you had and about memorable moments during the Broncos. I had a few. I know one time we flew into Denver, and it was just as sunny as can be. And we head to the field. It's an hour or so later, and it was snowing. So it's just like the weather changed up real quick. But some of the most memorable things for me, it was I got my, I think it was my first interception on Ed McCaffrey there. And along with that, one of my hometown heroes, Rod Smith, was playing with them during my times. And so it was always an honor to line up on the other side of him because we had a lot of people from back home that would come watch us play and battle it out. And one of the best plays, all-time best for me, was the Dante Hall shake 'em ankle breaker to get in the end zone against the Denver defense.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
JD, do you have any moments?
I do, man. It always seemed, the elevation of playing in Denver always affects you. And so I always used to hate going out there because you just knew that you just didn't have the wind and the air that you needed. And you had to get acclimated. It takes like a whole half just to, try to get your breath, try to get these things down pat. And so I just always constantly, I just look at Al Wilson. Sure, I look at what's that? The DB that was out there, Champ Bailey.
Champ Bailey.
You know, these guys, man, yeah. Hey, E, I'm a tad older than you, man, but I remember what's the name? But the hard head out there at
Atwater.
Yo. Man, I remember playing against Atwater too. So it was, they had a lot of guys, man. It just, Romanowski. And so that whole like rival between Tony and Romanowski and their defense, what they used to do. So it was always like a great rival going against them. And so you always wanted to kind of, beat, and you knew it was going to be just a hard fought game. But I tell you this, I never felt like we get a fair shake in Denver. I never felt that. It always seemed like there was something against us. They always went their way. The refs was cheating a little bit. It just seemed like that. And then they had it at Dagon Horse used to run out there too, man. I used to hate that. Broncos used to run out.
Yeah.
You start galloping all through here like that with the little girl, with the girl and the hair in the wind.
Yep.
I used to hate that scene, man. I used to hate that scene. But like I said, I used to play like in the old stadium where the people were right on you. Did you play in that stadium, me?
Yeah, I played there a couple of times.
Did you? Okay, yeah. So
I played against that water. To me, it was so awkward for me coming into the NFL. I didn't have a dream of playing the NFL. I didn't even think I was a great football player. I just thought I was an athlete. And when I first got out there, and I'm looking at guys, I'm like, man, I played with y'all on Tecmo Bowl, like this can't be real.
Right? Like, is that real Atwater? Is that really
Atwater? So you the one that knocked out Christian Okoye? Man, look at, I can't believe him. Yeah, it was crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Rod Smith, how much older was Rod Smith than you?
I want to say Rod is 5 years older than me. So.
Okay. So did you watch him in high school?
I did. Rod was a hell of an athlete.
Yeah. Good dude, man. Good dude.
Yes, he is. Man. You know what? I was going to actually see if I can call him, see if he wanted to come on the show before this Bronco week. So,
oh man.
I didn't know if you wanted any opposing team players on here.
Rod Smith, hell yeah. I'd love to have Rod Smith on.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Man, Rod paid me a great compliment when I was in Philly. This is when he was in Arizona at the time. And after the game was over, he came up to me and said, hey, young fella, hey, look, man, you keep doing what you're doing, man. You're going to be great out here. And I was like, man, I appreciate it. It's rarity for somebody like a offensive guy to come on the other side and just, find a dude. But I'm just like, wow, like, man, that's that was awesome to hear something like that from Rod. So I guess it's, that's who he is. That's who he is.
Yeah, he is.
Great things about Rod, man. Seriously. Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember just, as a fan just watching, whether when the Broncos play the Raiders or the Broncos play us, I just remember like he Chris route runner. I just remember good hands. He reminded me, maybe playing styles a little different, but maybe at their age, I saw them kind of the same. He reminded me of like a Tim Brown type. I don't know. Would you guys agree with that or no? Or game styles a little different?
Yeah, they're a little different. I would say if they're any comparison, heck, I can't think of a big name receiver that stands out like Rod. He was kind of tall and lanky. What's my guy that's at Detroit?
Calvin.
No, before Calvin. Herman.
Herman Moore.
Yeah.
See,
that's way before Marcus's time.
I know the name. I know the name.
But yeah, Rod was good, man. I was we always had fun out there. It was always joking around, but he's had his moments on me, and I've had a few on him also. So good battles.
Now, from your hometown, were you two the only two that made it to the league? From your hometown?
No, we had a lot. Michael James is from there.
Wow.
What's my the quarterback name? The guy that I can't think of his name. But we've got a lot of guys that have come through. Byron Williams. This is a bunch of old guys. You wouldn't have any clue. Larry Mallory. Who else? Can't really think of most of them now. But yeah, there's quite a few of them.
Michael James was a badass at Oregon.
Yeah, he was.
He was sweet.
That he was.
So going into this weekend, what are your predictions for Sunday? I know obviously it's kind of a lopsided kind of game here, but what are your predictions for this coming weekend?
Now, with the way our defense has been playing, I think we should go for a shutout, to be honest. Like, they don't have a quarterback. And I think the quarterback that they just had the last game had one completion for 9 yards. You know, and I take my hat off to him because, you know, they moved a receiver and all of a sudden converted him to quarterback. But still, like, heck, I'd throw a screen pass or something. Yeah, give me one completion for 9 yards in the entire game. So we should go for our normal. I think we're still averaging 30. So I'll go for 35 for this game to nothing. Well, they might luck around and get a field goal. So I'll say 35-3.
JD?
You know what? I just don't even understand how that happens, you know, where you just don't even have a guy.
I know.
You know, I just don't understand it. You know, but you know, when you look at teams that's wounded, you know, and to us, it's about pride. I don't care how bad a team is. You know, every Sunday you got to kind of show up. You do. So you can't take it for granted. You know, and plus you don't want guys to get hurt because, you know, you might have some guys on the other side like, man, these jokers going to go to the playoffs. I ain't going. Let me hurt this. You know, let me hurt him real quick. Just things like that just kind of out there. I'm not saying it happens a lot, but, you know, it just might be a little bit of animosity just because of where the Chiefs are and where they are and what they're dealing with. So, you know, sour grapes, man. You know how it goes. Too. So I'm looking, you know, it's going to be a blowout, easy win, but you can't play down to the competition. You can't put guys in position, you know, like, look, all right, if you up handily, what's the name? Let Patrick put his hat on, sit him on the bench, let the joker sit down for a little bit. You know, bring in who's the quarter the backup?
Chad Henne.
Yeah, shoot, bring Chad on in. Chad, shoot, you can do a little something. Bring him on.
Earn that paycheck.
Right. That's right. Better strap up. Put that chin strap on, buddy. Let's go.
He had a rushing touchdown in the first game we played. Remember, he came in at the
that's true. Well, he should have enough. He should be able to get some time this weekend.
That's right.
I know you guys care about this a lot, but the Vegas odds right now, they have us as a 14-point favorite, 2 touchdowns.
I take it. Easy.
Yeah.
I took us last week at -3.5, and they ended up winning by 3, so I got screwed on that one.
Oh.
I actually had that, and I had Tyson the night before, so it was a bad weekend for me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But no, so Eric, you talked about a shutout, and Jason, you said it's gonna be a blowout. So what are the kind of things you're looking for this weekend? I know it's a mismatch, but what in a game like this, what are you looking for when you come to games like this?
So right now, for me, I think the defense is the only thing that most people have a concern with. So this is the time we can go out and brush up some things, you know, working against a different team instead of, you know, when you have to go up against the scout teams and you see them every week, you think you're doing something better than what you really are. So going up against a different team and seeing the way we performed against the previous teams, and which is not so good, you get to go out and at least now put your foot on somebody's neck and hopefully keep that attitude throughout the rest of the season and work on getting better. Because right now, defensively, we haven't really stopped anybody. And that's been the major concern, at least with most teams.
Yeah, I think, you know, definitely defense is one you got to look at. You know, they got to get better. But also, too, you know, they got a good defensive front. So you still got to stop that pass rush. And that, you know, I always say
Chubb's the only one they got.
Chubb's the only one, but you shoot, he's enough. They still got the one guy out there, don't they? What's his name? Wolf? Is he still out there?
Nah, he's in Baltimore.
Is he? Okay. Whereas another guy that's kind of like similar to like the build and stuff. That's why I thought he was still out there.
Yeah.
But I mean, they still bring it. So they're still going to do what they need to do, man. They still going to game plan. Like I said, man, the offensive line has to just get better. They have to get better. And this is like the week that you have to say, look, everybody needs to grade out either a B or better. Seriously, if you were on the C, then you're going to see yourself on the bench. So that's what you're looking for. So this is going to be a good matchup, man, as far as like the offensive line against the defensive line. You know, like you said, Chubb, man, in itself, I mean, he's going to bring the noise. You know that. So he stays hyped. He stays ready. He's going to keep those guys ready too. So they're not going to give up defensively. So, I mean, why should they?
So what you think the score going to be?
It's prediction? I think it's going to be like probably a 21-point win. When you say take down, this one, I would say you taking, the gas, right? Take your foot off the gas. So maybe 728. 728. That's what I'm looking at.
All right. 21 points. All right. So both of you guys have it covering the spreads. All right. I like that.
Yeah.
Actually, last time they played, I think Chubb had, I think he had one sack last time. I think he might have had two, but I know for a fact he had one last time they played. And that's really all they got up front. So, I mean, and did you guys feel this too when you guys would play primetime games? Would you guys, with the NFL, they're not rigging the games or anything, but kind of keeping it close when a primetime games. They don't want people to tune out, especially on a Sunday night game. I could see that.
Yeah, but I think most people already know going into this, like Denver's not a really good team. That's just a proven fact. And it's kind of like when after the Golden State Warriors just won their games, like Golden State became the primetime games. Like it didn't matter who they were playing. Right. And then you have teams they blow out by 30 and 40 points. But people really didn't care because they wanted to see Steph and Clay shoot threes. So it's about the same. Like everybody wants to see what Patrick's going to do next. So, he's become that primetime player to where it doesn't really matter who we're playing. People want to see what he's up to.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were giving the Golden State comparison this week with the way we played in that first half of the Buccaneers game. So, and I thought of you too on that when everyone was saying Mahomes is the Curry of football now with just dropping threes at any time, which you said on the show 2 weeks ago before these analysts were saying it. So, all right then. So blowouts this weekend. Hopefully that happens. So we're going to go to our final segment here, the Chiefs Kingdom Concerns segment. We look at tweets and see what people are saying about it, and we're going to ask you guys what about some of those tweets. So Jason, our first one's for you. And that comes from at Real BBQ Dom. He tweeted, us Chief fans are witnessing the greatest quarterback, wide receiver, and tight end of all time in Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, and Travis Kelce. # Chiefs Kingdom. Jason, what is your response to that tweet?
Greatest of all time.
That's what he said. Goats.
Yeah, everybody has an opinion, right? So I don't. I'd have to still say that greatest tight end in Chiefs history is Tony Gonzalez by far, and just for the simple fact that Tony, he did a lot more blocking. Man, when I watch Travis out there, now I'm just going to be critical of him. He doesn't really. Matter of fact, in the game, I watched it. It was like third down. I think it was like 3rd and 1, something like that. And he put his hand on the guy. And I'm like, man, what are you doing? There was double tight ends, and it's just he just didn't put a hand on the guy. So I see Tony did a lot more, I think, physically blocking. I like Travis. He's a great player. He's going to catch tons of balls, but that's also too because of who's throwing the ball to him, right? So when you got somebody back there who's doing these things, throwing the ball. I mean, we had Trent Green, but then after we had Trent, then we had, Tony had to play with Tyler Thigpen and, Brody Croyle. And
Travis was all pro before Patrick got there.
Huh?
Travis was all pro before Patrick got there.
Yeah, but I'm not taking away from Travis. I'm not saying he's not a Pro Bowl tight end. I'm just saying that, with the course of him catching as many balls as he is because of Patrick Mahomes. They thrown it 45 times. But we had a guy in the back, 2 guys in the back that was toting that rock. You know what I'm saying? That was in there too, like some of the pass plays. We know that. So when you had the Galloping Ghost and Priest Holmes, come on now.
True, but outside of that, and when it did come to the passing game, Tony was our main focal point. I don't want to compare either. I hate the whole GOAT and comparing thing. And the guy that sent that comment, he's a great Twitter feed. I do follow him. So
do you? Okay. So
Travis is on pace for good things. Him and Tony both did some great things. And Travis is continuing to do great things. I wish and truly wish Tony had stuck with the Chiefs and, even with his retired as a Chief, but he wants to go down as a Falcon, and that's what he is now. So
That joker's a chief, man. I don't care what he, try to do. You know what I mean? I think all it was just bad blood. That's all it was, misunderstanding. And it was just, knocking heads. That joker's a chief. No doubt about it.
That's my take on it, too.
Hey, that sucker cut his teeth in Kansas City. All right? He did a whole lot of things. Look, that joker's a chief. I don't care what you do. What you say. Hey, when I see him in Falcons, I'm looking at him, I'm just like, it's a little weird to me. I mean, it really is. So, I guess, of course they want to claim him like, yeah, he's Atlanta Falcon. Man, get out of here, man. Tony played. All right. What are you going to say? Brett Favre was a Viking? You know what I mean? He was a jet, Come on now. Let's not do that. Let's not have a conversation. But going back
I'm
to
not,
the question.
but I'm not. I'm just going off. That's what he says. So
I get it. So I'm gonna go back and just address this real quick. Right now, being the GOAT, Tyreek, everything is arguable. Everybody has an opinion. My opinion, I think Tony is better than Travis. They both great. Tyreek is a great wide receiver, but Patrick Mahomes is going to be one of the best to ever play the game. Not just a Chief, but to ever play the game. And I think a lot of it has to do with their success is because who Patrick Mahomes is. So, that's my opinion.
Oh, that's fair. In fairness to Tony, I know he does say he's an Atlanta Falcon. His last year, I remember right before the trade deadline, it was Andy Reid's first year. I remember he went to the rumors was he went to Atlanta's front office and said he wanted to be traded back to Kansas City because they weren't making the playoffs, and he wanted to go to Kansas City with the playoff run with Alex and Andy Reid. And they said no. That was what the speculation was at the time. I don't know if it was true or not, but he wanted to come back.
It's business, man. It's business. I just know he was when he. That's for another segment. All right.
All right, Eric closes out here with our final Chiefs Kingdom concern from @JLThomas58. He tweeted, "Imagine thinking the Steelers can beat the Chiefs. #Chiefs Kingdom." Eric, what is your response to that tweet? I know in the past you said the Steelers are the kind of the biggest foe that we'll have this year if we play them in the playoffs. What's your thoughts upon seeing the game yesterday?
So I think the Steelers are good. One, they have a really good coach. Two, they got a really good quarterback. And I've yet to hear Ben Roethlisberger mentions in anything as far as MVP-wise. And the dude is having not the greatest season, but a really, really good season overall as a team. They went from, I think below 500 last year without him. They're proving like not to be as good without him. And after a season of injury, and I don't even know if he's 100% right now, but he's obviously older, and he's just pinpoint. I wouldn't say pinpoint accuracy, but he's making some pinpoint plays to keep those drives alive, to keep those guys undefeated. They're a really good team overall, offense and defense. Are they more of a complete team than what we are? I don't think so. I just think that what we have offensively is way too much for them. Yes, they do have a great coach who comes up with great schemes like Belichick. But they just lost a great player on defense in Dupree today. So that's going to hurt them. We'll see what that does for the rest of the season. And right now, the way our offense is clicking, and we got 14 back, I just think we're in rhythm to put us back into Tampa to defend the title. But I'll keep my fingers crossed on that.
So who do you think's I guess our biggest test is going to be in the AFC? Well, what's the team you don't want us to face in the playoffs?
If anybody, it would have to be Pittsburgh. Like we've already seen Baltimore, and I just don't think they're the team that they were last year at all. Anybody else in Tennessee, they're depending on one guy, and that's Derrick Henry. I think we did enough last year to show that when we need it to stop the run, we have the players to do so. Right now, our biggest weakness is in the passing game. So if that's their way of trying to beat us, I don't think Derrick Henry is going to be enough. So Tennessee, I ruled them out. And outside of Tennessee and Pittsburgh, I don't know if the Colts are going to make it that far. But they are a team that's playing well also.
Yeah, I think, man, probably the Colts and Pittsburgh, two dangerous teams, no doubt about it. Pittsburgh, no doubt. I want that to be the championship game. But, man, the Colts are a dangerous team. Colts are a dangerous team. So you always got to look at those guys. And then, Baltimore, I don't know. That's one that Patrick's done one over Lamar. So, it's always revenge game. He's always trying to outdo him. It's always that comparison, who's going to be best. But, yeah, I don't think they have, a complete team like we do.
No.
And this year's the first year that the 2 seed's not going to get the bye in the playoffs. How deflating is that, let's say we go 15-1, and the Steelers go 16-0, and you don't get that bye. Is that deflating for a team, or they'll kind of go past that? They won't even.
Well, I can't say it is, because if that's the way it happens, we as Chiefs players got to tip our hats to Pittsburgh for having an undefeated season. We screwed up against the Raiders, and that's our fault. And so, if we know the plan going ahead from day one, we need these games in order to get this bye week or to have this type of a playoff run. Now, Pittsburgh, if they end up doing the undefeated, my opinion, you tip your hat to them on a great season. And we just catch you an AFC Championship game.
Jason?
Yeah, I think you do expect that at least that rest. And it's key, especially going into, at the end of the season, because you're just going to play more games. And so you could see sometimes where either that game could hurt you or can help you. So if you're getting the adequate rest that you need, but also too, you're not resting guys enough where you're not, they're sluggish, they're rusty, coming back off of that, that little bye week, then that's one thing. But I just, the way, it's going to play out, I think it's unfair, man. You always look for that. You wanted to. You were looking for that. You were looking for that rest. You really are.
Yeah, you want the bye week.
You want it,
no doubt.
Yeah,
everybody wants that rest.
Absolutely.
But we can't. But what can we do? We can't be mad about it because we lost at one. They went undefeated. So.
Right. I got that. But I'm still saying, like, dang God, like, why does it got to be like this year? Why it got to be? We got to do it really this year? Okay. All right. We'll deal with it.
And last question, not Chief related, but do you see Pittsburgh going 16-0? Which was more likely? Pittsburgh going 16-0 or the Jets going 0-16?
I don't know the rest of the Pittsburgh schedule. The way that usually happens is that the coach is going to take his starters out, or his key players out, that last game, maybe the last 2 games, just to rest them up or risk injuries. So Ben may not play in game 15 or game 16. And they have a chance to lose there, but who knows? Maybe Tomlin wants to be that first to, think that they can go undefeated and win the whole thing. So he may not. You don't know. But in the way it's always happened, in that game 16, most coaches are going to take their quarterback out and their key players out, whether it's in the second half or just not play them all that game. Now, the Jets, I don't know. I thought I've seen worse teams throughout my career in the NFL that have actually lucked up and won a game. They could possibly be the same way. But right now, my take, I don't think they're going to win one.
Yeah, that's a hard road, man. They got some shoot. It's got a hard road. I'm looking at it right now. So they have the Chargers, Miami, Seattle, Rams, Cleveland, and New England. So if you pull one off, the only 2 I can see maybe possibly happening might be, well, actually 3. Cleveland, New England, and maybe the Chargers. That's only, like, I'm just giving them like a shot, maybe a shot. So that's Baker Mayfield playing terrible, right? The defense not doing anything. New England.
I'll say this here too also, that Cleveland isn't winning because of Baker Mayfield. They win because of them 2 running backs.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. So that's the only thing that, like, they might have like a really minuscule shot of like winning. So that's it. But Pittsburgh, yeah, I can see that point of it. Yeah.
And with what you said, Eric, if we still have 1 loss, Tomlin benches guys going into week 17, if we still have 1 loss and they lose that 1 game, I don't know what the tiebreakers are. Division, right?
Yeah, that's based on his decision of what he thinks is more important: rest his key players or play for the advantage of home field. Of course, we all want home field advantage and that bye week.
Right.
Yeah.
So if that's the case and that's what we're faced with, then he's got some decisions he's gonna have to make at that point.
As a player, you guys are obviously you want to play for that bye, right? You don't want to be
Hey, yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Just kick your feet up for a couple of days,
And did you guys ever get the actually?
Yeah, we did.
We get the
Indy
13-3.
Yeah.
Yeah, got it. You keep reminding Ag. I keep 13-3. Jeez.
Yeah.
We should have won that year, E. We should have had the Super Bowl that year. We had it. We should have won that year.
Man, I told y'all I shouldn't have played in that game. I had back surgery literally after that game was over with.
Oh, man.
I remember you being hurt, man. I remember you always. Yeah, I never really seen you looking so pitiful the way you used to walk around.
that old bad back.
Hey, bad back, man. I know. Hey, look, I know about it too. Hey, I played like a bad back in 2000, 2005 and 6. So,
ain't no joke, man.
No, sir.
Well, talking about the going perfect that year. So going into was that we were 8-0 or 9-0 when we played Cincinnati and we lost.
9-0, and that's when Chad Johnson predicted the win, and we lost.
Yep, wasn't even him either.
No, it wasn't. That joker didn't do anything. He sure didn't.
Didn't Rudy Johnson had a good game in that one, right?
Yeah, Rudy did, and I'll go ahead and put it out there again. Like, I sat there and watched this game this year at least 4 times. Every time I guarded Chad, they didn't throw his way. Like, I was balling that game, and all of a sudden I got too comfortable. And them suckers ran Peter Warwick on a straight post route.
What?
And I was not, and he called it right there in the end zone on me.
What was they
Just
on?
got comfortable.
What y'all line was they on?
Oh, it was a deep ball, so I don't know where it was at, but it was a deep one. Like I'm talking about JD. I had got so comfortable. It's like I was out there. I don't even talk shit when I play.
Yeah.
And I was out there just barking because they weren't even throwing it my way. I'm like, yeah, man, y'all. Who is this Ocho? Who? Like, and all of a sudden it was in the 4th quarter, and I was completely dead asleep. And that ball just came deep and just caught me slipping.
Wow. That guy.
Now, was that talk in your locker rooms when you guys were 9-0? Like, oh, we're gonna go 16-0. You guys weren't talking about that.
Now, you don't really talk about going 16-0. You just look forward to the next week. You're happy each day because you're undefeated. Your team's playing well. You're not getting bad write-ups and whatever else. So it's like you're living in the moment and you're happy with wherever you're at that moment.
Mm-hmm. You probably won't start talking about undefeated until you get to like 13th game. Like, yeah, we might be able to do this now.
Yeah,
right. We stay on track. We might be able to do it. So,
right. So that hasn't really set in with Pittsburgh yet. You don't think?
But shoot, Mike ain't letting them. I guarantee.
Yeah, I don't think he'll let him either.
No, no.
As good as it sounds, you still got to prepare for the next week.
Right. And
you whether that team's undefeated or not, or hasn't won a game, you still got to prepare for them. Like that's what you prepare for is whoever's on that schedule. So when you're undefeated, sitting there 10-0, we're beautiful. We look good. We played well. I don't care who they can say all the bad stuff they want to, but we're the only team that's got a goose egg on the other side of that 10. Mm-hmm. And we've proven ourselves each week. And so we got another one next week. We got to fight. We got a dog fight next week. So 16-0 is not even a thought right now.
No,
win the next one.
Too much ball need to be played right now. Shoot. I mean, really. I mean, anything can happen at this moment. You can lose Ben, Juju. I mean, really. I mean, it's just too much. Like you said, Buddy, he's out. So is he done for the seasoning?
Torn ACL.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Yeah, he's a Kentucky dude too.
Yeah, he is, man. Yeah. Bud's a good dude, man. He is.
I've been following him since college. I watch him play.
He's really a humble guy. He really is. But when you talk about athlete, when you see a joker, Adonis, when you look, I'm like, look at this fag guy.
AJ, I've seen him since college.
Oh yeah.
Now, last question before we go. This has been kind of a big topic. Was Wednesday football? What'd you guys think of a Wednesday football? It was random, but like, what'd you guys think of it? You guys want that to be a thing in the future or no?
Man, it's 2020. I'm not surprised about anything.
You know what? To be honest with you, it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit yet. So I wouldn't want it to be a thing now, because it just messes up your schedule, the whole timing of everything. You know, because then all of a sudden you work with a short week, and all of a sudden you have to just in the middle of that just disrupts your whole being, your whole schedule. You know, so it just puts you off. So I mean, Thursday.
Now, I figure once the world is back to normal, like we got regular, because right now I think we would usually be in the middle of, in the beginning of college basketball, NBA basketball, you know, in the thick of football. Baseball will be over by now. So you would have so much going on to where those slots of TV times are of entertainment is there. Right. And so it's like right now, heck, if they wanted to do a Monday morning football game, people are going to watch it. You know?
True. All right, well, that does it for this week. We'll see you next week where we discuss the aftermath of the Broncos game, which hopefully it's a blowout. I'm going to go by your guys' predictions, and discuss the upcoming Dolphins game, which could be a huge one too. Dolphins are having a good year, so that'll be an interesting one to talk about. But if anyone has Chiefs Kingdom has any concerns for these guys, please tweet at us at @ConcernsChief, and please subscribe and follow us at Chiefs Concerns on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Gentlemen, it was a pleasure to see you guys.
Always
a pleasure.